Andre Norman, president and founder of Second Chance University, and we are back with edition, I'm saying, business masterclass from none other than I'm saying local restaurateur. Is that how they say it?
Yes, close. Restaurateur.
Restaurateur. Okay, excuse me. I went to public school. So, would you care to introduce yourself to our peoples?
Absolutely. So, hi everyone. I'm Liana, and I'm the founder of Buttermilk Biscuit.
And for those who don't know, what is Buttermilk Biscuit?
Right. So, Buttermilk Biscuit is a Southern-inspired breakfast, brunch, and lunch restaurant. We are nestled right in the heart of downtown College Park.
You know, all my people, I got 650,000 people with one of these. They're watching one of these like now, like, really? Buttermilk Biscuit? So talk about some of your, before we even start talking about how we got to that, what's on the menu? Because if I was watching, I'd be like, damn, what do they serve?
Right.
So let's break down the menu for our hungry people. Put the Raymond Noops down.
$1 million question. So, yes, we boast a lot of the traditional Southern classics like your chicken and waffles, your catfish, shrimp, and grits. That's actually one of our top sellers. Traditional morning dish breakfast, but the star of our menu, I must say, it's in the name, is the Buttermilk Biscuit. So we bake our biscuits fresh daily, and so you can get a lot of different flavors. Blueberry lemon, the traditional buttermilk. We even rolled out a sweet potato biscuit recently. So that is the fun and the uniqueness of the brand.
They ain't got no grape jelly, y'all.
We do not have grape jelly. However, we do house make our jellies and jams every day. So we have a blueberry, a strawberry, and a peach jam, which most people like. But Andre, he's a special one.
I grew up on grape jelly, y'all. I pull up in there, I'm like, yo, biscuits, butter, where's the grape jelly? They're like, would you like some lemon meringue? I'm like, no. Hey, we got some strawberry peach cobbler. I'm like, no. Give me some Smuckers, some Welch's, or some of the stuff out the package.
Yeah.
They're like, no. I literally went next door and bought some grape jelly and brought it back. Say no disrespect, right? But
this is a true story, by the way.
Oh,
and we used it. And they knew every time Andre came, get his grape jelly. Yes.
Until she got mad at me one day. I knew she was mad at me one day, and I came and there was no more grape jelly.
No more.
She was like, I was like, wow, I guess we ain't friends no more.
Well, we can be friends again.
We can be not without grape jelly.
You heard it from him first, guys.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I grew up on peanut butter and jelly. You know what I'm saying? So bread, butter, jelly is what it is. I didn't grow up on all this wonderful Southern cuisine. I would call it fancy, bougie food, but it was good. But I'm just like, yeah, I just need some grape jelly.
At least he liked the food.
Oh, the food's phenomenal. The only thing wrong with your restaurant, I've been there several times, is you don't have grape jelly.
Wait, I'll tell you what, Andre. We'll work on getting some grape jelly just for you.
Question: did anybody else ever ask for grape jelly?
A few customers did.
Yeah, I'm not alone.
He rests his case.
I'm not alone.
I can let you have that one.
Yeah, and well, they can't really drink, but you serve alcohol too.
We do. We do.
Margarita. I don't drink either, so I don't know anybody that drinks like the margaritas and all the rest. What's that stuff? Mimosas. Y'all are mimosas.
Yeah, so mimosa is a brunch time classic. So we do have the mimosas. We also have a full bar. So you can come and order whatever signature cocktail you like.
Yo, the girls be pulling up for the mimosas. That's why I be like, yo, Sunday, 12:30, just pull up.
They do pull up for the mimosas. I myself am guilty of that.
Yes. So you have the restaurant. What made you start this restaurant?
Whew, such a simple question. Really my reasoning in starting the restaurant was I wanted to bring something that represented my values to a community that was seeking a sort of sit-down experience where we could kind of get back to community, family values. I'm a mother. I have 2 young children, 2 and 4. And my background, I used to own a lounge bar before I started Buttermilk Biscuit. That was a franchise concept. It was a great opportunity for me to learn the business and how the restaurant works. However, starting Buttermilk Biscuit was really about bringing my vision, my passion, my values To the great community of College Park. And I did, really take some time and think about where I wanted to put this first location of this brand. And it came up College Park every time. I mean, it's amazing the way the community has really embraced me since I've been here.
So you couldn't take your kids to the old job?
No, I could not bring the kids to the old job.
They can come to this one, though.
They can come to this one, and they have, and they love it, by the way. Very kid-friendly.
Free food.
That, too.
They think it's free.
Until they have to learn the business. Yeah.
You start making them cook and clean.
Exactly. I don't think they'll like it so much then.
So you started out, and you started doing the first location. And then you're extending it. I mean, you have like a nice space, but now you just released the space behind you. So are you doubling? How much more space are you adding?
Yes. So it will actually double the dining room space. So one of the things, and it's very important if you were starting your own business, it's so simple, but just listening to the customers. So people love to leave reviews when they visit a restaurant, and we watch them. We try to respond to them and listen to what the community is saying. And a lot of guests, they love the place. It's cozy, but they wish it was more space, as evidenced by the line out the door some days, which
Right.
you've experienced. So it's something I'm happy to do. Being just under a year old is a blessing to be able to expand. And that is what we are in the process of doing. So it may take 2 to 3 months, but we will double our dining room space, and, we can accommodate for larger parties and groups now.
So how many can you seat now?
Right now we sit about 50 on the inside.
So as you have the patio as well.
We have the
inside
patio
is
as well.
50.
Inside is 50.
So inside will be 100 now.
Yes.
Hold on, let me text me a reservation real quick. So I'll be like, yo, I'm saying I wanna.
Oh, you're a couple months early, Andre.
I'm early. I can't.
You can do 10 people, maybe 15.
Nah. So I was trying to make me a reservation now. It ain't going down like
He'll
that.
still come.
I'm not doing no construction though.
No, I have people for that, luckily.
There's a lot of people on here who are watching. They want construction jobs. So we're gonna get to the employment piece later. Just because I know, you got the first place, you're doubling the size, and you're getting a new location. How does all that
Sure.
work?
Well, it is a lot of work. I consider myself to be ambitious. And when I started this brand, I didn't just start it and we'll figure out everything. I really took the time to sit down and plan how far I wanted to take it. So that sort of strategic planning and just knowing our purpose, our why, and our vision, it's really opened a door for opportunities. We spent majority of this first year reinvesting back into the business, which is very important. It's hard a lot of times for us business owners to do because we're normally strapped for cash, especially when you just open a business. But we really just, honed in on our people, our culture, our brand standards, and really communicating that. So I think that has allowed us to be positioned to take the opportunity to move into another location, which was presented to me by the current landlord of this location. So that's where your relationships come into play. But we are looking at a second location in Stonecrest.
And a third.
And a third.
I like the third location.
He's just telling all my business.
No, we can. If we got secrets, I didn't know. You're supposed to do pinky squares, promises or something. I'm saying I'm celebrating. I'm saying that I'm not going out to Stonecrest. Even my sister lives out that way. But you got Stonecrest. You got them. The whole objective is a franchise.
Yes.
So 10 years from now, you'd be like, boom, IHOP, Waffle House, Buttermilk Biscuit.
Household name, baby.
What you gonna do with all that money? What you gonna do with all that money?
Well, let
I'm
me
just
get
kidding.
it first, and then I'll figure it out.
It's on the way. So our audience is sitting in prison, holding a tablet, saying, wow, glad the sister's doing good. I'm glad it's going well. And like the normal person, after they finish celebrating, you're like, well, what does it mean to me? So when it comes to hiring, I'm saying, so how do you feel about hiring people with criminal records?
As to how I feel about it, I mean, I wouldn't put anybody's business out there, but we have hired people with records. One of the things that we look for in particular, but I think this is a commonality around with a lot of employers, especially in our industry, and this may be one that you have not heard before, but mindset comes to mind. Attitude. It does not sound like a big deal, but it's everything for us because everything trickles down from the top down. I watch how I treat the staff, how I treat the team, how I treat customers because they're watching me and they're modeling that same behavior. So we take every opportunity to communicate our values, to demonstrate them, and we look for people who have values who align to ours. And just to give a few examples, it's teamwork is one. I mean, some of the values are very basic and very simple, but if you come into a job and let's say sometimes it's a good culture fit, sometimes it's not, but the culture it exposes whether or not it is, and you definitely want to look for places that you connect with as well. I mean, I've hired people who have walked in off the street, sat down and interviewed them on the spot. Some people came through our hiring platforms. But it's attitude is a big thing we look for. If somebody is making waves and they've been on the job less than 90 days, then that's something that we look at. So it's really just about your attitude and your willingness to learn.
So if somebody comes from prison, what's some of the things they could be doing now that would be important to you when it comes to hiring?
Well, something we were talking about before this podcast started, if you have an opportunity to work in a kitchen, per se, at the prison, I mean, that's valuable experience. You are getting that experience of doing high volume, whether you are cleaning up or cooking or whatever position, but you're also learning work ethic. So I would say, positioning yourself in that position, or even educating yourself on the business itself. So if I'm interviewing somebody or my team is interviewing, I want to know, did you even look us up? Have you seen the website? Do you know what our brand is about? Why do you want to work here? Do you embody it? So those are some of the things that anybody could do ahead of applying for a job.
So if I'm the dish man at the prison, I'm doing dishes for 3,000. I'm doing 3,000 dishes a day, 3 times a day. How many people come through your restaurant?
That's great experience because we are not doing that kind of volume. We will be one day. But on average, I mean, we see anywhere between 200 to 250 people a day on average is more on a Saturday or Sunday. So they are definitely doing volume.
If you're working in a prison kitchen, you're doing more dishes in that dish room in a day than they see in a week. So this should be a layup for you.
That is true. When you put it like that, that is very true.
I remember I just left the prison in Tennessee. There's 2,400 people there. And they got to feed them 3 times a day. So those trays come through, they go out, they come back dirty. Some has to wash 2,400 trays 3 times a day, 7 days a week. So one of those days, that dish guy would come to your place and crush.
Ooh-wee. Yes, he would.
And again, then I watch people. I used to think working in the kitchen was a punishment because I was too busy trying to be out hustling and moving around. So they put me in the kitchen. I was in the feds where they make everybody take a job. I thought it was a punishment. I didn't want to be in no kitchen. And I was like, everything I could to get out of the kitchen. But for those who do work in the kitchen, who like that space, it's an instantaneous segue. And there's thousands of restaurants out here needed people, including yours.
Yes, and that is one thing that we all struggle with as restaurant owners is our people and just retaining people and keeping good people. So when the restaurants are always hiring. So yes, it is opportunity.
Gotcha. I remember the first day I came in, I sat down. You can tell the story you want me to tell it. There's something better coming from you.
I don't know if he wants me to tell it, but yes, I do remember when we met. So one of my team members came over to me. I can't remember who. And she said, hey, this guy in the corner wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay, well, tell him to wait. At the time, I think I was processing payroll. I was doing something on my computer, and I was very into it. Andre did not take no for an answer. And it's a special circumstance because normally I get up and I'm talking to people and customers in a restaurant. However, Andre plopped himself down and would not leave until I got up and talked to him. And I did. After a few minutes, I came over and we spoke, and we've been friends ever since.
And I was not one of, but I'm one of your first business consultants.
Yes, and customers.
Oh, I was one of the first customers?
I mean, I remember you in the beginning. It was not as packed as it is right now, as you're very aware of. And you are first regulars. You definitely
I'm one of the first regulars. But no, I mean, so I say that not because it's like a me thing, but when I first came in, the advice I shared, the books I shared, the knowledge I shared, how valuable and how valuable or worthwhile was it? Was it like, oh, this guy is talking crazy? Like, you never been no place. Now, I've never technically owned a restaurant, by the way, but the information that I shared was useful, unuseful, what?
Well, I would say it's hard to tell you haven't owned a restaurant because the information is very useful. And that's the thing. Whatever your business is or your interest is some of the same principles that go into running any sort of organization or enterprise. And Andre has shared books with me that have been very helpful. I just got back from Michael Burnoff's Core Live conference last week in Arizona, which Andre invited me to, which was very helpful on a personal development front. But yes, he has given me a lot of business advice. And also personal development advice as well, because you're not separate from your business. Even though we like to say it's just business isn't personal, it actually is very personal, because if your personal is not right, then everything flows from that, and the business can't be right. So that's where it all starts. It starts with the self-love, and it starts with the personal development piece. And then you grow and you incorporate some of those principles into your business.
No, I've been to Michael Burnoff's seminar. It's a good friend of mine, and I just know what he does. And when I first came to the restaurant, I'm like, who owns this? Oh, sister owns it. I'm like, okay, my reason for wanting to talk to you is to be helpful. Let me help her best I can. Let me contribute. So I was like, King, okay, here's some suggestions. I just didn't walk off the street and just start like, here's a list how to make your business better.
Right. Probably would have took it differently.
Yeah, it's like, well, here's a book. Check this out. You know what I'm saying? Here's a such and such. Here's a training video. Did you watch the Keith Cunningham video? Because I gave it to them.
The Road Less Stupid.
The Road Less Stupid.
I did.
Everybody that's watching this has watched The Road Less Stupid. I put it on.
I love it.
No. Listen, y'all. The Road Less Stupid video with Keith Cunningham and Joe Polish, I gave her that. I'm like, here, check this out. It's a mindset thing. Check this out. Mm-hmm. She was like, what is this? It's two of the top business people on the planet. And aside from being friends, boom. And the same stuff I give y'all, I gave his sister. And I couldn't go to the conference this weekend with you, but I know it's just a phenomenon. I sent my son. I've gone twice. I've sent tons of friends. I got a list of people that go out there because he's really good at what he does.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, want to see you win. So this is the thing. We are received out here. I'm saying there's ways to build relationships, build friends. I remember I came over one time. I volunteered for the day.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was fun. He actually put on a Buttermilk Biscuit shirt and got in the kitchen. And what were you doing while you were there? I think I was in and out.
Your toilet was stopped up.
Oh, yes.
So your toilet didn't work. So I went over to Home Depot. I got the snake and a plunger. Came back. I made that work. I bought you some cleaning stuff. I got the guy came by selling cleaning stuff that was really phenomenal. And I just helped. Yeah. I walked through. I saw the flow of the business. And at the end of the day, I gave you a report. Hey, here's some things that I saw from being here on the ground. Mm-hmm. And that was one and done.
Yeah, it was one and done. We appreciate it, Andre, for the time he gave
one
us.
One and done. It was like, I was in there like, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and that's why I have the utmost respect for the team members, for the staff, because, it can be a lot of work, and we all play our roles, our different positions, but there's definitely, I try to create a path for our employees to move up, to have that upward mobility or momentum. But to your point, yes, it is opportunities out here, and there are people like me who like to share them.
And my one and done day, like, Dre, you volunteered for a day? Yeah, because when you come home and you're trying to get a job, and I come there and be like, listen, I vouch for this person. Well, if you're a friend of Dre's, then you must be good because I know his work ethic, I know his attitude, I know how he approaches stuff, and it's going to transfer to you. And that was my culinary arts. In prison, I worked in the staff kitchen. We call it culinary arts. And I did that for like, I don't know, like a year, MCI Shirley. So I worked in the kitchen, prison kitchen, never a restaurant.
Well, that means he ran the prison kitchen.
Why can't it be all that?
But you know what? I mean, clearly you were able to easily transfer those skills his one day on the job, right? So I guess it is.
I got
good
employee of the
experience.
day. I was employee of the day.
Other day, right?
I was employee of the day.
I give you that.
So before you became a great restaurateur and having one location on the verge of having multiples and blowing walls out and doubling the size of your restaurants, and I'm having these wonderful jellies, homemade in-house. Where did you grow up? What state?
I grew up in Georgia, in a small country town called Cartersville.
A little country girl?
I do have country roots. I'm proud of it. Yes. That's actually the kind of foundation of the menu, you know, Southern inspired. I am a product of the South.
Did you grow up on a farm?
No, although there was a rooster next door that would wake us up in the mornings for school. So it crowed every morning at 6 a.m. No, I did not ask it to. But yes, we were farm adjacent.
She lives next door to the. It's like living next door to the projects. I don't live in the projects. I live across the street, buddy. You live in the projects.
I don't claim that.
If you live next door to the farm, you're a farm. You're a farm girl.
I don't claim that. But I did grow up in the country. And, you know, it's certain things about the country that I miss. Now I'm in the city living. But it's something about the country, the peace, the quietness. And actually, that's one of the tenets of Buttermilk Biscuit. Buttermilk Biscuit is supposed to be a home away from home. So it's supposed to be an escape from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. See how it all comes together?
When you was in Arizona the other day, I went to the restaurant. I go there for breakfast. And I'm sitting down. I forget who I was with. But I was with somebody. And I looked around. And I was like, wait a minute. I saw the stand by the door. And I was like, because not enough seats. So I took a picture of the stand. I looked at the waiting bench. Took a picture of the bench. Was like, listen, if you move this stand outside, where it could be, the welcoming stand, and just get rid of the bench, you can get 4 more seats in there.
Yeah, this is true. This is an actual text that he actually sent me a couple days ago, and we did have an actual conversation about it. That is a prime example of Andre giving business advice, and I think it's just natural.
I didn't call to see if you did it or not. It's just 4 more seats. I don't know what 4 more seats adds to revenue.
Well, that's a good question. And you know what? One thing about running any business, but a restaurant definitely, is to know your numbers and know what you do. You can, as a restaurant, you can only make as much money as the seats you have. Right. So you're actually very correct. And just carving out 4 more seats at $30 a seat. I'm bad at math. What is that? An extra $120 a day, or no, times 3 table turns. That could be an extra $500-$600 a day. Look at that.
Now, you know where I got that from? Bar Rescue, y'all. Listen, I used to watch Bar Rescue. He would come in and they would say, you don't have enough seats at the bar. And he said, each seat at the bar is worth this amount of money. Mm-hmm. And you have it all spread out looking cute, but you need to put some more seats in here. And I just watching TV and listening to somebody who was a restaurant professional makeover. He used to always say, the seats are the money. How many seats you have dictate how much money you make. I don't care how cute your restaurant is. It comes down to the seats.
That's true.
Seats in the restaurant, seats at the bar, full stop.
That's
so
100%
when I was sitting
true.
there, I'm like, oh, that's 4 more seats.
Mm-hmm. And see, I've never watched Bar Rescue, but thank you for sharing that because that lets me know I'm on the right path.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got the restaurant. It's open. It's doubling. You got 1 to 2 more down the line coming. So you don't need me. It's not like it's going to fall apart without my advice, but Bar Rescue comes in handy. So you got to pay attention.
And to be honest with you, Andre, I would take advice. I mean, anybody can give you great advice. you need to be wary of. I wouldn't go and get advice about general contracting from a dry cleaner. However, anybody, down to any employee, down to the dishwasher, can make a great suggestion that we will adopt as a business that could be a very helpful business decision. So never let your mindset, your pride, or your ego stop you from getting good advice. Somebody could walk off the street with good advice. Just being honest.
Get off the street. I can assure you, right now. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you, right? I pay attention. Come on, get in here. Come on, get in here. I'm talking about you. There's somebody watching this right now. 650,000 people watching. That's probably about 500 different prisons. Easy. And somebody on here is like the head of the kitchen. Go to a prison kitchen. There's that one guy or that one lady that runs everything. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been there for so long that they're de facto. They're not staff, but staff defers to them. Like, this is, for the most part, their kitchen. They know how everything works, how to fix everything, how everything runs. They can cook anything in the building. They know everything. And they're sitting here right now. You're sitting, I'm talking about you. So pay attention. You have some running a kitchen that feeds at least 500 to 2,000 people a day, 3 times a day. And they run the whole thing. And probably get paid anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a day.
Ooh. Well, what I would say to this person is you are probably sitting on a large amount of insights, of skills, of management skills, of managing inventory, managing flow. Those things are definitely something I look for in a kitchen manager. And even, whenever you may get out, you have so many opportunities. I mean, sometimes you work a 9 to 5, and while you build your dream. So, there are so many people doing these ghost kitchens now, which is essentially, I mean, you can rent shared kitchen space for $90 a month, maybe even less than that. And you can literally run an Uber Eats, DoorDash storefront just out of a shared kitchen, just buying your own inventory and your own products. I mean, from certainly managing that many meals a day, you could handle that with no problem. And I mean, I've seen these stores on Uber Eats do numbers. I mean, thousands a day. So it's a lot of opportunities that don't require you to have, a college education or even that outside experience, just by nature of what you're doing. Those are principles of management.
Safe serve counts.
Yes, it does.
You got it. You already got it. They do safe serve in prison. A lot of prisons I was in offered a safe serve certificate. I got my culinary degree, so I learned how to cook meats, internal temperature, cross-contamination, all that wonderful stuff. You know what I'm saying? All the way down to baking.
Oh, this is my first time hearing this.
Oh, you know I had a culinary degree?
Okay. Well, see, Andre's going to have to show me now.
I ain't coming in there cooking for nobody. I used to make birthday cakes for my kid. Probably make for 6 years in a row, I made him birthday cakes. And when I used to go to church, when I came home, I used to go to church, and every blue moon, they would have like a potluck Sunday. And all the church people would show up with their little stuff. So I would, because there was a kitchen in the church, I would go into church that night. I go to the supermarket, buy a bunch of stuff, pull up in the church, make spaghetti, make chicken, make ziti, I'm going to say all kinds of stuff. I make desserts, pies, cakes. Y'all know me from Norfolk. If you was in Norfolk with me, you know what I was doing. I was about that life. I'm making all kinds of stuff. I make sweet potato pie, everything. And people just come in and put the food on the counter. And after service, we have potluck and we all sit down and break bread. They be like, yo, who made this ziti? Oh, who made this lasagna? Oh, who made this chicken? Oh, then they get to the desserts. Who made these cookies? Oh, who made this what? And my fiance at the time would say, oh, Andre made it. They're like, get out of here. He got Tim. The dude with the Timbs and the hoodie, he didn't make this. And she was like, he made this. I didn't do it every potluck, but like every couple.
Well, Andre, I think you're in trouble now because you just gave me a lot of information I was not privy to. So we're going to have to put these culinary skills to the test.
No, I charge a lot of money to get on stage. I'm a motivational speaker and a crisis manager. You know what I'm saying? You got your one day, you wanted floors and toilets. You got that. I helped you with the floors and toilets and staff training.
Yeah,
But
not letting this go. But continue.
oh no, listen, I work for Arnie Norman. So you don't pay enough down there. See, I'm not fresh out. See, they might be coming home and need a job. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole company, a couple of them.
He didn't mean that, you guys. We pay enough. Y'all come on by Buttermilk Biscuit. Get your job.
I mean, hire me. You don't pay enough to hire me.
Maybe.
My hourly rate is $25,000.
Woo, okay. We'll take them for 0.01 of a second.
That's what I'm saying. So it was a labor of love. I mean, why did I do it? Why did I want to be helpful? Why did I want to show up? Because I grew up being the mean kid. I grew up being the bad kid. I went to prison being the bad guy. I went to the hole being the trouble guy. And that's all I was, and that's all I used to do. So now I look for opportunities to be the helpful guy, to be the thoughtful guy. Oh, he's trying to... No, I just... Listen, it's less about you and more about me redeeming myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I still battle with the, you're not that guy. You know what I'm saying? So I have to go out of my way to prove to me and others, I don't need to prove to you. I need to prove to me that I have ascended, transcended, and I would never in my old life help nobody. Helping somebody wasn't part of my script. It was all, what's in it for me? What can I take? If I'm going to work in your kitchen, I'm trying to open your back door, do something crazy, breaking the roof. That would have been the reason for me to volunteer back in the days. Now it's just like, yo, let me come be helpful. I have strategy skills, managerial skills, culinary skills, restaurant skills, prison kitchen skills. I mean, be helpful.
Yeah. And, one thing you'll find is if you have that intention and that intentionality about yourself, when you do good tends to come back to you.
Like I said, I live my life every single day. I can advocate for any one of you if you come across me. So if I went to her and say, yo, Lee, I got somebody. You good. You got a job. You got the ultimate reference.
Just say Andre sent you.
No, I'm only going to pull up. Like, you can call me. Like, you know this guy? Like, yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely calling.
So we go to prisons and we visit and we talk to people. So if you were in prison, what would be if we were in the auditorium, we had like a couple hundred people sitting in the auditorium, what would be your message to them?
My message would be, don't give up. In the situation you're in, clearly it's not your ideal situation. But what is going on the outside doesn't have to come into the inside. And that's for anything, but especially, I can only imagine being locked up. But my advice, I think, is pretty universal, is to keep persevering and make sure you're doing things for you and your own mental. And it's a really beautiful thing when you take that journey of growth and just really learning yourself. What are my triggers? What are my, what are the things, what makes me happy? What makes me sad? I'm sure there's plenty of time to reflect on those things. And that'll put you ahead of the game of most people walking the streets. They don't know what they want. Take the time that you do have to sit and think, do a self-assessment, and just really check in with you. And keep pushing, always. It's only temporary.
So, you started the business. There's so much money you put up. There's so much money you got from investors. So, business is doing great to the point where you're doubling the first location, you're going off to 2 different locations, which is another thing. But how much? Because they're like, oh, I can't afford that. Mm-hmm. It costs so much money. I don't have that much money. How much money did you personally have to put up to get started?
So, let me say this. Don't let the nice clothes fool you. When I started this particular brand about a year ago, I had nothing. I had maybe a couple thousand in my bank account, which I had to spend on my kids. I had to figure out childcare. I had to figure out just buying basic needs for a period of time. And it was very difficult. I was actually staying with my mother. I wasn't even in my own place. The relationship had ended. So, and 10 months later, I opened up a restaurant. And I'm going to get to your question in a second, but I wanted to share that just so you all know there's no obstacle that you can't overcome. As a matter of fact, the challenges and the obstacles are evidence that you are doing something worth fighting for. So to answer your question, Andre, no, I did not have the money. I just said I'm going to figure out how to get it. So a SBA loan and some investors later. I myself put up $50,000 and a little bit more after the location opened up.
$50,000 is a lot of money to some people.
$50,000 is a lot of money, but
is that the SBA loan or is that your personal money?
Technically,
no, there's a difference because if I go get an SBA loan, they give me $50,000. Technically, that's my money. But I'm talking about you said you had $2,000 in the bank.
Gotcha.
But you put up $50,000. Now, if that's an SBA loan, that's cool. It still came through you. You're responsible for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I'm not talking about how much debt did you take on. It's like, okay, I got $2,000 in the bank. I'm trying to take care of the kids, trying to figure this thing out. And you got investors. So the investors covered whatever they covered. SBA covered what it covered. And how much was technically cash out of your bank account was left on you?
The reason why I hesitated with answering your question is because it came from a lot of different sources.
Borrowed friends and family?
Yes.
Oh, so you borrowed money. I'm not even counting the money you borrowed. So if you borrowed money from your mom, from your aunt, from your cousin, from whoever, I'm not counting that money. I mean, you again, I'm like, you got $2,000 in the bank. That's what you had. And the rest was you just made work. You had to go borrow Peter, Paul, and the rest. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, so I want them to know now, I started with $50,000. Some people just tapped out. I ain't got that. Mm-hmm. But if you had $2,000 or less, you was able to borrow, get loans, and investors to cover the rest. So majority, like 95% of your money came external.
Yeah, it did. And that only came because I was able to communicate my vision, effectively to those people. But to your point, I mean, pretty much all of it was borrowed by that measure.
Yeah.
So yes, and credit cards. I knew what I wanted to do, and I didn't say, I don't have $500,000. I said, let me go get $500,000 and let me figure out how. And there are certain things where there's a learning curve, right? So know what your strengths are as well. My strength is on the back end, the administrative things. So I won't say it was easy to get the SBA loan. It actually took me 6 months, but I did not quit.
We got people doing decades up in here. They got patience.
You got time.
They got patience. They got the time about to run out. But when you get out, don't lose the patience part of being locked up.
Right. So I mean, it takes perseverance, to be honest. But while that same excuse, I don't have the money, may have stopped 1,000 other potential restaurateurs, I did not allow that obstacle to stop me. And
so when you got the SBA loan, it was you and maybe 5 other people versus you and 1,000 people.
Yes.
Should have been 1,000, but it was only 5 of y'all.
Right.
So quitters never win.
And winners never quit.
So when you got the money, you got the building, you had to build it out to get to where you are now. What's 3 mistakes or 3 things that you would do differently if you could go back?
Oh, it's so many. So 3.
Well, give me 5.
Well, first and foremost, I hired too early. That's something that you want to plan for, and you definitely want to create the systems around it, but you want to really be wary of your overhead and just really planning things through. So if I knew I had a 4-month rent abatement, which basically means you're rent free for a few months and then you have to start paying rent. Well, I started paying rent maybe 6 months before I opened. So that was $40,000 that could have gone towards working capital. So that's one thing. Like I said, employees, I could have waited to a couple weeks before we opened. There was one very detrimental, and I'll say detrimental to my peace, mistake that I made. I had ordered all the equipment ahead of time. However, the way life works, a lot of the the vendors or the freight carriers who were dropping off the equipment. It was like 1,000 different vendors for every piece of equipment. They started showing up early. I wanted to make sure we had equipment by the opening date, but they came before my floors were finished. So I started to do finishing touches before the actual tenant improvements were done.
So your floors aren't done in the washing machine shows up.
Yes, and mind you, all this equipment is bigger and heavier than me. So there's nothing that I could even move on my own. So I had to call people. I had to sit outside of the front with my babies in the back seat and just watch the equipment until one of my business partners got there. And then we had to rent a U-Haul truck and have somebody move the equipment and rent a storage space, hold it there temporarily till they finish the floors. And then we had to have somebody
bring it back.
So it was a travesty.
Moving, the truck, the storage, all costs that you didn't have to pay.
It was a lot of time, energy, and money that I could have saved just by, let's say, planning a little bit better and managing that process. But a lot of times I call it the stupid curve, lovingly. When you're starting something for the first time, and mind you, don't let it being the first time deter you, because everybody has to do a new thing the first time. That's normal. But you end up paying that cost in what you lack in experience, right? So my next location, I'm not doing that, right? I've learned, but the important thing is to understand, reflect, right? Understand how you could do better the next time. And the most important thing is to apply that new knowledge that you have, because it does you no good if you've learned this, but then you turn around and do the same thing with your next location. So that's just a few. It was a lot.
You happen to be a woman, and there's a lot of women watching you right now. I'm saying the guys, that's the homies. I'm saying, but the women are like, I always try to balance my guests. I always think of your sisters, because I'm like, I know it hits different when it comes from somebody on your side of the line. So, you got a message for the women, for your comrades.
For my comrades. Oh, so many messages. Let me talk to the sisters real quick. Black women. Y'all know.
Hold on. Women.
I'm sorry. Let me be inclusive. All women.
Yes. You can do a special message for them after.
Okay.
You got to do everybody first.
Well, and this is my opinion, but it's my truth. I believe women are the strongest. We have to have the kids and still go out and work and bring home the bacon and manage the household and all of these things. The gender roles are changing. I feel that a lot of people really don't know where they fit or what their role is. I mean, my advice to women being a woman in a male-dominated industry is don't let anybody gaslight you. And by gaslight, I mean, if you know something to be true, or you know something resonates with your values or doesn't, don't bend those values to appease somebody else. Women, men, people in higher positions than you, don't compromise the things that are core to you, because that's when you start to lose yourself. And when you live in your authenticity as a woman, as who you are, that's when you can really thrive. You can't thrive if you're not yourself. So, take that time, go inside, but don't let anybody make you think that you're crazy, that you're wrong for feeling how you feel about something. Now, control your emotions, right? But recognize them, take it in, and respond instead of reacting.
Now for the black women. I ain't got it against my sisters, but we got to be inclusive. Now hit the sisters.
For the black women, I have unintentional. I don't think any of us intends to become a statistic, but I am a single mother. And I know that is something that is pervasive in our culture. And I just want to give you just a fist bump of support. I know it's hard. Keep pushing. Black women really, really set the standard for work ethic, perseverance, and just rolling with the punches as they come. Don't lose that, and don't buy into the belief that all Black women are aggressive, or just because you're asserting yourself. Like I said, what is right, keep that, hold on to that. Keep pushing, keep persevering.
I got somebody right now. They might be in solitary confinement. They might be on their bunk in the dorm. Be like, yo. They thought about leaving the planet. They're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I've been here too long. My family left. My kids are gone, or whatever the scenario. My husband, my boyfriend, my girlfriend left, or whatever their situation is. And they're tired, and they're like on the verge of giving it all up. What you got for them?
We a lot of times make, and it could be a very bad situation, but a lot of times the mind is just so powerful, and a lot of times your mind will inflate issues, inflate obstacles, and make them so much bigger than what they actually are. And just being in that space, I would encourage you to just keep pushing. It always seems like it's big at the time, but there is life after your situation. There is life after becoming a single mother. I'm a living testament to it. There is life after your relationship ending. There is life after going through a divorce. There is life after going to jail. Your responsibility is to keep living.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are here in the building, and we have another show called Ask Andre. So if you want to ask Lee some questions, send them in. We'll get them we'll invite it back to an episode of Ask Andre, and it can be Ask Lee for a day. Because I get letters from all over the country. I'm saying, hey, can I ask different reentry, business, life, personal? I'm saying, I got a group of women out in Missouri. Shout out to Missouri. They be asking me like, yo, are you getting married again? You have more kids?
So. Well, look, I am here for it. So please send your questions in to Andre. I would definitely come back.
You come back?
I'll come back. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, get on down to that kitchen, apply for a job, handle your business, hit the whole. Listen, do the dishwasher, do the floors, do the cooking, do the storeroom. Every skill you can get is going to be a benefit if you want to go in the restaurant business. If you have no interest in the restaurant business, leave them kitchen people alone. You're just going to be in the way. I'm saying down there moving slow and complaining. Because I was complaining.
This is true. They put me
in the kitchen in Terre Haute, Indiana. I got off the bus and said, yo, report to the kitchen. Huh? I get down there. I got out of it. In the feds, you have to wear steel-toed boots to work in the kitchen. So when I got to the prison, I'm flat-footed, so I can't wear steel-toed boots. So then they gave me, they had a trick for that, because, you're flat-footed, you can't wear boots? They gave me these caps. It was like steel-toed caps. They gave me 2 caps. I said, yo, put those on your shoes and report to work. I said, these are my personal shoes. They were like, yeah, and? I said, well, what's going to happen when my personal shoes wear out running around this kitchen? They were like, well, we'll deal with that when it comes to it. I said, no, let's pretend that we're there right now. What happens when my shoes are tore up from running around all this crazy kitchen stuff and I can't work? They were like, well, then we're going to have to let you go. I said, let me go now. I said, either you buy me some shoes or you let me go. They're like, we ain't buying you no shoes. I said, well, they gave me the Lieutenant Janice, USP Terre Haute. He was like, I came off the bus, I was a troublemaker. He's like, I don't want him in the kitchen, no how. So they sent me to the lieutenant's office, who was supposed to send me to the hole, because they weren't going for that. They're like, everybody runs that game. I can't wear those. Send me to LT's office. I get to the LT's office. He says, you? I was like, come on, LT. I ain't built for the kitchen. He gave me a hallway job. I kid you not. Shout out to Lieutenant Janice, USP Lewisburg, 1988. He gave me a hallway job.
Well, look, I would highly suggest you to work in a kitchen if you have an interest in food service, or restaurant.
Shout out
For
to
sure.
Chef Jeff. Chef Jeff, Vegas is in the building. Los Angeles, he started out with a cool job. He got put in the kitchen for a punishment. Then he turned that into head chef at Caesar's Palace.
Wow. That's very
Straight out
inspirational.
of the federal penitentiary kitchen. He got the cook. He got in there and he decided doing everything and got his swerve on. Before long, head chef at Caesar's Palace. Head chef at the Biagio. I never pronounce it right. You know what I'm saying? And he just cooking shows all over the planet.
Yeah.
One of the world's greatest chefs. Shout out to my man, Chef Jeff. I met him back in 2003, 4. He
Okay.
came to give a speech and we connected and we've been kicking it ever since.
Wow.
Solid dude.
Yeah, very nice. And yes, it can happen to you too. If that's your passion, focus on it. Go for it.
No, if you're a good cook, that's it. Nobody cares. Because you know something? The people in the restaurant are never going to see you. For the most part.
We would never say that.
I mean, the people in the restaurant very rarely see the cook.
That's true.
I've been to Roof Chris and the Mortons, all these steakhouses. I'd never met the chef at any steakhouse. Except when I go with my rich friends, then the chef comes out and wants to say hi to people.
And that's why it depends on how far you want to take it. Do you just want to be a cook, or do you want to be an executive chef somewhere? Either way, you need to start cultivating these skills now.
Last thing, I learned how to bake. When I came home, every supermarket makes bread on site almost. And there's like 100 jobs to be a baker for bread at supermarkets around the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My father's like, I'll get you a job at the supermarket. You make $65 an hour baking. And you go in at like 4 in the morning, you get off at 2 in the afternoon. Crazy money.
Wow. I'm going to have to look into that.
I hung out. I went with the speaker. I cook for fun. Any parting words?
Just thank you for the opportunity to come. And just so you all know, we will get Andre in the kitchen at Buttermilk Biscuit. You heard it here first. That's it.
There they go. They don't listen. I always tell people, right? They're like, oh, he's just a teddy bear. No. I say a bear without claws is a teddy bear. I got to flash the claws, let them know that I'm not a teddy bear. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a stuffed animal.
He can use the claws to slice up, sausage.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is your host, Andre Norman, Second Chance University, your president and founder, your brother from another mother. I want to see you do well. And if there's a particular type of guest you'd like me to invite, and send me an email, send me a letter, and let me know, hey, Dre, I'm really into this, I'm really into that, and I will do my best to go out and find that person from that space and bring them on. But until the next time, I want to say thank you for joining us. My tribe appreciates you. I appreciate you. And be good.